more than likely has something to do with extending its lifespan, which seems to be the genetic goal. Live as long as you can so you can breed, make some babies, and fucking kick the bucket. You're done. Cast off into the abyss like an old stinky pair of socks in a hotel trash can. So, yeah, anyway, maybe that's all you're seeing. It's your mind, so you're just seeing some extra level of your mind. But then these synchronicities are so profound sometimes that you have to ask yourself, well, if it's just external phenomena, the implication in some of these synchronicities is not just that my mind is seeing some pattern, that it's not just confirmation bias. It's not the phenomena where you look up at clouds and you see faces. No, it's not some projection, but the implication would be that somehow your mind is actually harmonizing the phenomena around it, which is the doorway to magical systems. The ability to shift your inner universe in a way that your external universe also begins to shift. So the great synchronicity happened in this lift ride. And I will tell you this. If there is some kind of benevolent secret society out there, some kind of counter to the dark Illuminati or whatever the fuck people believe, they drive lifts. And I get the best downloads from my Lyft drivers, just out of the blue. They'll just start talking about something that's been bugging me that I haven't mentioned to anybody, and I listen really closely. And I always give them 5 stars. So this guy, he was talking about like all kinds of things, and a lot of them were very synchronous with stuff that I'd been wondering about. But the glasses are another synchronicity, because late at night I'd been scrolling through Reels and I stumbled upon one of the now infinite number of Reels that are conspiracies or just, weird fringe stuff. And I don't know if this is true or not, and I don't care. Actually, you know what? I think it was like YouTube clips. It was YouTube clips, I believe. It doesn't matter. It was, one of the machines with pumping out dopamine extraction phenomena into my brain, and I like it. But this dude was talking about a conspiracy theory that I have heard before, and I have not researched, because I don't care. Again, I'm not fact-checking. I'm not one of those people who cares if there was a historical Jesus. I'm not going to do that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if there was an actual Apollo, Zeus, Pan, any of these things. I don't care. To me, all that matters is they exist in some liminal space within people's minds at the very least. They're an egregore at the very least. And egregores are incredibly powerful, even though you might not see some physical manifestation of them in time-space. Just connecting to the mythological symbol itself can shift your consciousness in wonderful or terrible ways. And I feel the same way about conspiracy theories. It's like, yeah, probably not real. At least not now, or it hasn't happened, but it could happen. We'll get into that in a second. But this conspiracy theory, whoa, it was super cool. It's something about these, lenses that they were giving soldiers in Vietnam. You've heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding? Where did you hear about this?
Same thing.
Josh, everybody.
They were seeing demons.
Josh Kabaza, who is running Comedy Frequency, which is the podcast studio that I record from. A wonderful man. So go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off. It's a stranger's voice suddenly.
The gunners were shooting at they thought nothing. What do you shoot? And then shoot at also friendly fire. And they're like thinking this person went crazy. It's like, no, I'm seeing like flying demons.
Yeah.
Outside of the helicopter.
Yeah. So I had just watched that before I went to San Diego. And then somebody gave me red glasses. Now, the problem here, I know what you're thinking. It's like, why do you want to see demons? And if you have to ask that, then you haven't been watching the podcast long enough. Seriously, you wouldn't want to see a demon? You wouldn't want to see a UFO or something? But the synchronicity was I had just been watching something about red tinted sunglasses, but the tint, right, was not like whatever the dye they use for this. The tint was some kind of chemical that now you can't even get anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the story. So whatever this weird shit is they were using. And apparently these glasses had some kind of connection to like a Russian scientist or something. Like there's a lot of like lore around these. And I'm sure that story is what inspired one of my favorite movies of all time, They Live, which if you haven't seen it, you must see it. It's amazing. But essentially this dude finds a box of glasses and you put them on and street signs and billboards suddenly change from Coca-Cola to obey, breathe. Yeah, pull up a pic. That's awesome. And yeah, and like, so, and he realizes that the planet has been invaded by these like weird interdimensional alien things. And they're using subliminal messages to invoke kind of, I don't know, sheep mentality and just to make people into these consumerist pieces of shit. And so it's awesome and it's hilarious. It's like so good. Also, you should check out, Zizek. If you've never seen Zizek, he's amazing. He's a philosopher and he does this incredible breakdown of this famous scene in They Live, which is the dude who found the glasses, who is a famous, I think it's Rowdy Roddy Piper, isn't it? Is that who it is? It's a wrestler who plays the main character.
Let me find out.
Oh, he kills it too. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Rowdy Roddy Piper plays this guy down on his luck, finds these glasses. I believe he's staying at some kind of like halfway house. He has a friend who thinks he's gone nuts because he's saying you put these glasses on and you see demons. You see, you know, the reality of the prison that we're in. And he's like, just put them on. Like, don't believe me, put them on. And his friend's like, I'm not wearing those fucking glasses. And they get in the most protracted fist fight. It's like gotta be like a 6-minute fist fight. They're punching each other, just beating the shit out of each other. And finally, he puts the glasses on his friend, and his friend sees, indeed, he was right. It's a 6-minute fist fight, which is for a movie so long. And also, it's like incredibly comedic because we've all been trained for like 2-minute fist fights max. So you're like, it's definitely gonna end now. And it doesn't. It goes on and on and on. So Zizek's analysis of this scene is that this is the level of energy you must expend if you want to wake somebody up from the materialist trance that they're in, the trance that They Live was trying to point towards, which is if you've allowed yourself to sort of fall into the hazy, sleepwalking reality, the default reality tunnel, then there's a kind of like sick pleasure in that. There's a sort of hedonic pleasure where you might have some underlying sense that things are amiss, but you override that with the delights that the modern world has to offer you and the distractions the modern world has to offer you. And so anything that seems antithetical to your general sense that you're safe, the world is fine, everything's okay, you will fight tooth and nail against it because some part of you recognizes that should your ignorant bubble get popped, you won't be able to blow it back up again and you'll have to live in the truth. So They Live is so fucking great. And also, what I love about it is instead of just saying something like that, which Zizek does, he's allowed to, he's a fucking philosopher with like maybe the best lisp of all time, to put it into like a sci-fi, cheesy sci-fi movie so that somebody could be watching They Live and have no idea that they're watching a critique of late stage capitalism and just think they're watching some badass fucking sci-fi movie, but then also the underlying message is very subversive. And that to me is like a victory in any kind of art where you can allow someone in the comfort bubble to enjoy the art, but also somebody who's outside the bubble can like recognize, whoa, wow, they're really saying it. That's what it is. That's fucking cool. Because if you pull that off, then when your art gets co-opted by default reality, which is kind of an inevitability, if you make anything in the world, it will get used to sell shit or to like promote some ideology you might disagree with. And that's like the big controversy that keeps popping up with like the Trump rallies. Trump will play like a Green Day song. The Green Day dude will like have a like mild rage stroke when he sees his fucking punk rock, subversive, angry, fucking howling music is being used by someone who he would probably view as the Antichrist. That's got to give you a real not so good feeling. So, and then they have to tweet about it because otherwise they feel like they are going to be seen as being on the wrong team or something. So, but this is just the natural sort of evolution of anything that goes into the world. Inevitably, it gets suctioned up by something that isn't artistic and has like profit as its main goal. This is just the reality of the world we're living in. So since there's no way to stop that, if you can find a way to create a Trojan horse that you know will get suctioned up by whatever forces you feel like you're fighting against, then wow, now you've done what the Israelis just fucking did with pagers, but with your art. I mean, holy fuck. If you haven't been following the news, I don't know how you missed this, but wow. This is one of the craziest versions of asymmetrical warfare maybe in human history. I don't know anything so weird. I mean, yes, we have the Trojan horse, which is incredible and hilarious that somehow they like were able to wheel a fucking wooden horse up to the walls of a city. And they just like, sure, we'll take it. And then there's soldiers in it. I mean, that's brilliant, but ridiculous. And there's no way that's ever going to work again. It could work. But what the Israelis just did is like, holy fuck. It operates on so many different levels. Because, you know, if you're doing asymmetrical warfare, which these days, like, it used to be asymmetrical warfare was something that was used by the opposing force that didn't have the resources. And this is the Revolutionary War. We took out the fucking British Empire. We didn't take them out, but we won using asymmetrical warfare, guerrilla warfare tactics. And they're like marching in straight lines with their stupid drummer and their flutes. And we're like in the bushes, just blasting them and disappearing. And they're like, these are not gentlemen that are shooting at us. And because like that meant something back then. So asymmetrical warfare, or Genghis Khan, the master of asymmetrical warfare. They're riding on fucking like horses. They don't have armor. They're drinking horse blood. They're not even stopping to rest. And then, you know, these knights come out with their heavy ass armor and they can't do anything because they can't catch them. So asymmetrical warfare. Also, Genghis Khan was a master of propaganda and psychological warfare. I guess psychological warfare more than propaganda. I don't know that the Mongol horde was like doing like posters about how great they are. But what they were doing is they would drive refugees